Are the Liberals and Mark Carney headed to a majority government? Yeah, it looks like it. Now look, there is a way for Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives to win, okay? And I'm going to give them this advice. Now look, obviously people who know me know that I'm a supporter of the Liberals, I'm a supporter of Mark Carney, but I'm going to give this advice because I just, in the spirit of bipartisanship and also with the knowledge that he's not going to take it, I'm going to say something very simple to Pierre Poilievre. TRUDEAU. Now, what you got to do is you got to take out the DEAU and you got to supplement it for what? Two letters that you are very, very familiar with. It's been your job since you were 24. MP. Okay? So you turn Trudeau, anytime your brain is going, you turn it to Trump. Can you do that? That's how you're going to win. Oh, and then the other thing that I would tell Pierre Poilievre is, please, my man, just smile, make me laugh, do something. You know, I got a lot of support actually for my last video in which I said that, you know, Pierre Poilievre is like Donald Trump because of the way he speaks. But listen, there is a way that Pierre Poilievre is indeed not like Donald Trump. And that is Donald Trump is funny.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
The guy makes you laugh sometimes. And that is really important. And I've seen it in polls right now. You know, there's likability. Even I was reading the Abacus data poll, which is like the only poll right now that has the Conservatives up by a few points. Man, Pierre Poilievre's likability, like, do you like this guy? He's -8. Mark Carney, in the poll in which the Liberals are winning, I think he's like up 14 points. So it's like, even the people who are like, I'm not voting for the Liberals and Mark Carney, I like Mark Carney. So this is a very, very, very big problem for Pierre Poilievre. But the other thing that's like really happening right now is that it just kind of feels like he's playing checkers. You know, he just doesn't want to let go of what the base of his election was about before. You know, look, back in the day, and I say back in the day like literally December, January, Canadians were angry. Yeah, for sure. They were angry. And he tapped into that anger. And that was really, really important. But it's not that Canadians are angry now. Canadians are afraid. And that is what you need to be tapping into to relinquish and relieve them of their fear. But he just doesn't have the requisite skills, it seems, to do it. And whenever he talks in a way that is anti-Trump, he's got a problem. And I don't know if he is like trying to triangulate because 75% of his caucus kind of generally supports the Republicans and Donald Trump. This was in the Hill Times. You know, 15% of Canadians actually like support Donald Trump. And I don't know. I think I have an idea as to where these 15% of the population parks their vote. I got a feeling. So maybe that's what's going on. But he's really got to figure it out, because if he doesn't, then this will go down in history as the greatest political defeat that I can think of. And I've gone back and be like, what a dismal and utter failure. And this is also something to keep in mind. Even if he is held to nothing more than a minority government, that is a loss. That is a loss, because he has devoted his entire political career to never reaching across the aisle. Who is he going to form a government with? Who is going to support his agenda if he has a minority government? You think the NDP sellout Singh is going to do it? I'll get to Jagmeet in a bit. You think it's going to be Mark Carney and the Liberals who are going to do it? Just like Justin Mark Carney, carbon tax Carney? You've literally made it impossible to do the business of the parliament. He has basically created majority or bust. Majority or bust. Well, guess what? Bust about to come for you, possibly. Big time. But look, I know, us liberals, we're very excited, but there's one thing in the back of my brain that I've been thinking about in respect to Pierre Poilievre. in that, look, I go on the Poilievre equals doesn't equal Trump thing a lot, but if I'm going to go down that train, if I'm going to take all the bad ways in which I think Poilievre is like Trump, the way he divides people, all his language, all of that stuff, I also have to take the aspects of Trump that are advantageous. And that is this. Trump activates people who have never partaken in politics before in their lives. And I have this fear that there is a definite possibility that in Canada, for the first time, we are going to hit a major polling miss. A big polling miss. This happened in 2016 with Trump. This happened in 2020 with Trump. And it took only up to 2024, this last election in which the polls were deeply, profoundly accurate, for pollsters to figure out how to weight the electorate. So in 2016 and 2020, what they did was they basically decreased their assumptions as to how many non-college educated voters there will be. They just said, okay, the electorate is probably going to be like last time, so it'll be X amount of non-college educated voters. Instead, that share of the electorate went bonkers, and more of those people voted for Donald Trump. Now, there is a possibility that Pierre Poilievre knows something that we don't. Pierre Poilievre knows something that Leger, Abacus, Liaison Strategies, Nanos, Ecos, that we don't. And so this is why, if you are a liberal, or even if you are an NDP who's voting for Mark Carney and the Liberals because you don't want Poilievre in government, keep this in mind. Do not be complacent, because all it takes, if it is 39% conservative, 38% liberal, the Liberals are probably still going to win just because of the efficiency of the liberal vote. But if there is a 3% polling miss towards the Conservatives, then sorry, folks, you got Pierre Poilievre as the Prime Minister of Canada. That's what's going to happen. Now, I don't know. I have a feeling that it's a little different, but let's be honest. There are people in my cohort of friends and family who are activated politically in ways that they have never been before. And a lot of it has to do with social media, their media diets, and Pierre Poilievre's nascent understanding of how to reach these people. So watch out, folks. Look, do I think that, the Liberals are going to get a majority if the election was held today? Absolutely. But do I think that there's a possibility that there is a silent group of people who are going to walk through glass to do whatever they can to make sure the Conservatives are in power? Absolutely. And we need to be mindful of that. Now, how do the NDP and Jagmeet Singh win this election? They can't. Take a look at every poll that shows a liberal ascent, and what you're going to see is an NDP decline. But there's a possibility that the NDP can be deemed irrelevant. So, and the election just got started, and they're already asking Jagmeet Singh if he is going to be leader after this election. This is how bad it's become. So now we have a question. What is Jagmeet Singh going to do? I think Jagmeet Singh 100% is the most interesting character in this political play right now. The most interesting character. Because he can do two things. He can either go and knock off Carney and say that Mark Carney is a centrist, big business, billionaire-focused liberal, and try to take those progressive voters away from him. Or he can go and knock Pierre Poilievre and say Poilievre is, he's about big business. He doesn't care about the working class, because a lot of the working class vote that the NDP used to have locked in their pocket, that's now gone to the Conservatives. He has to pick one. And right now he's doing both. And the problem with both is that my view in general is that effective politics is effective storytelling. You have to tell a good story. And good storytelling comes with focus and singularity and vision. It's why when Justin Trudeau was Prime Minister, Pierre Poilievre's story sang. It reached the end of the audience. People were on their feet because it made sense. And now it's muddy. The story is muddy. So what is he going to do? My feeling, my hunch, is that while Jagmeet Singh has a very big responsibility as leader of the NDP to care for his party and to make sure that he could salvage as many seats as he can. I honestly think, and even if you look at the supply and confidence agreement, I honestly think that Jagmeet Singh is going to be a patriot. And I think Jagmeet Singh is going to do everything he can deep down to make sure that Pierre Poilievre is not the next Prime Minister of Canada. This is just a hunch. I could be wrong, but watch what happens in the debate on April 16th and 17th. Watch what he does. If he, in any moment, defends Mark Carney from attacks from Pierre Poilievre, keep your eyes open for that, because that tells you not where his political strategy is. That tells you where his heart is. This is a crazy election. This is definitely the, I would say, the election of my lifetime. You know, I'm not that old, but definitely the election of my lifetime when you consider the cast of characters. You know, I got a lot more to say, so please like, follow, do what you do. As I said in a few videos ago, I'm new to this. I am doing what my fiance told me to do a while back. Ali, express your thoughts and share them. I have a feeling that deep down, maybe there was a part of her that was like, do this, because, you know, you don't have to keep on telling me, Ali, I get it. You know, our politics are very similar, so God love her. Yeah, and I want to shout her out because, you know, I'm getting married next week, and when I think about it, I get very emotional and very happy. So for her, like, subscribe, follow, and as I said, we're all figuring out the influencer economy together. And here's a promise that I'm going to make right now. Whatever money I make on my videos, which at this point is zero, but one day it could be above zero, I'm going to give 5% to charity. That's it. I make this declaration right now. 5% of all my income from these videos that entertain you and inform you, hopefully, are going to be given to charity. And like, please, like, I love these comments, man. I love the way you all are getting in the comments and you're, you know, respectfully debating each other, and I really appreciate that. Like, this is amazing. So yeah, craziest election that I can think of, and wow. Let's see what happens.